Hello, welcome to Dungeon Bros Podcast. I'm your host Justin. So today it was raining, thundering outside, and it reminded me of Apocalypse. So I went and grabbed my DC Special Number One, Mr. Miracle, which came out 1987, uh, which is about the superhero created by Jack Kirby, who was part of the Fourth World uh, series by Jack Kirby for DC, where he created like these the New Gods, which is like these alien beings that like are at war with each other. You have Darkseid and Highfather, and Mr. Miracle is the son of Highfather, who was given to a Darkseid as part of like a pact, right? Which where like two enemy leaders will give each other's sons to in like in a way to form a treaty. So if anybody broke the treaty, if either side broke the treaty, they would kill their sons. They would do that a lot in the medieval times. You even see that in Game of Thrones. So this book, uh, Mr. Miracle, who's doesn't really have superpowers. He has some tech from Apocalypse, right? But he's like his thing is that he's an escape artist, right? And he's on Earth, and I forgot to mention this is written by Mark Evanier or Evanet, depending if he's French or not, with art by Steve Rude. And the cover for this book is pretty good. This came out in 1987. It starts off with uh, Mr. Miracle performing another escape where he has a bag over his head. His arms are tied behind his back for chains, and he's locked in a safe, thrown off a cargo plane, right? And he has like a little he has a little parachute. So he's like, yeah, his wife, Big Barda, who's like a female warrior from Apocalypse, is watching this with with uh, with Oberon, who's Mr. Miracle's assistant. I'm just gonna call him Scott Free. That's his name, Scott Free. Escape artist's name, Scott Free. So yeah, she's like nagging at Oberon, saying like, "Oh, I really hate watching him risk his life for these dumb uh, for these uh, dumb theatrics and shit, right?" And like they're doing it because like they need the money, right? And at first, like you see they do a fake out where you see the safe crash into the earth, but uh, later you see him floating down with the parachute, right? So like after that, they get a run in with their old agent, Funky Flashman, who heard that Scott Free's back in the escape artist business and wants them to sign a very shifty contract, right? He turns them down. After that, you get a little flashback, like a little 3-page flashback on Scott Free's origin story. They have to do this, and while that's going on, Darkseid sends Kalibak to go and kill Scott Free. He does not succeed. So then he has Granny Goodness come up with a plan to kill Scott Free. While this is going on, Oberon uh, Oberon went out looking for a job, but then finds this circus that's in danger of closing down. So he goes to meet Mr. Miracle and get him Mr. Miracle and try to get him to uh, help the circus out by performing escapes. While this is going on, Funky Flashman uh, gets kidnapped by Darkseid and Granny Goodness, and is told to help them with their plan to kill Scott Free, or he's dead. And Funky's like, sure, why not? Yeah. So like, yeah, he goes to Scott Free saying, hey, I got you a gig on television television for you to escape this like trap that even you can't get out of, and you'll get $1,000,000. And they need the money because their house was partially destroyed by Darkseid's goons. So obviously, what happens is that he goes into the trap. There's like knives getting thrown at him. There's flamethrowers. The room floods with water, and Piranha, he's able to escape. And but since he was able to escape, they decide to say fuck it, bring in the killer dogs, bring in the muscle-bound monster, and when that didn't work, Granny Goodness and her goons go in, and they also at some point they had captured Big Barda. Scott 3 rescues her, and they go out and fight the goons. They all get teleported away, and Darkseid decides to show up and just kill Scott 3 and Mr. Miracle himself, but ends up changing his mind, right? So I enjoyed the book, but I kind of find this character kind of dumb. Because it's like one thing I have to mention is that I really hate this whole thing where he's an escape artist, but they never really explain how he gets out of the traps that he's in. They just brush over that. Where if in manga, you ever seen like manga, if you ever read manga, when they do like manga on characters that are really good at something, right? Gambling or medicine, like with Dr. Jack Black or whatever, or Blackjack, not Jack Black. They do, like, the writers will do research and will explain how characters do stuff. Here they don't explain stuff. They explain how he gets out of the traps, and that's kind of dumb for me. Also, I kind of don't like the fact that I never liked married couple superheroes, because usually it leads for the wife to nag, and then by the end of the issue, she promised never to nag again about about her husband being a superhero, but she's going to. They always do. Big Barda even said she's not gonna nag Scott anymore for his escape attempts, but she's going to, man. Oh, you wouldn't have a comic without it, I guess. And then there's the fact that Mr. Miracle's main villain is Darkseid, one of the most powerful villains ever, and this guy has no superpowers, but is able to evade getting killed by Darkseid. Why doesn't Darkseid? Well, we know the reason why Darkseid doesn't just kill him to begin with, because otherwise you would have no comic book. But it's like, oh my god, it's so dumb, man. It's so dumb, but that's how it is, I guess. I don't know. Other than that, I did enjoy the comic, and I thought the art was cool. It's not exactly Jack Kirby-esque, but it's pretty good for the 80s. I really like the page where it's Mr. Miracle stuck in this box, right? He's all crunched up in this box, and then where he's trying to escape this trap for the circus, and then he's thinking about all the different characters. That page, all the different fourth world characters, like the Forever People and Light Ray, and Big Barda's at the corner. That page looks really cool. The art's really cool, right? And also the narrator, I forgot to mention there's this narrator guy who's always in front of the panel, he's speaking to a camera or something, narrating what's going on, and he's dressed up like a showman at a carny or a circus or whatever. like the ringleader. Yeah, he's dressed up like a ringleader. I get it took me a while to realize, okay, that guy, that guy, only we can see that guy. That guy doesn't exist. Yeah. So I would say overall, I enjoyed the comic book. I'm giving it, 6.5 out of 10. I pretty much just bought it for the cover, to be honest. So I paid like $5 for this book. Is it worth $5? Well, it is 40 pages, so that's more than your average book nowadays. But like, yeah, I don't know if I would if it's worth paying $5 for it. I think it might have been more expensive if it wasn't for the someone someone on the top of the book put purple marker marked it with purple marker. So that might be why it was. Maybe it would have been more expensive without that. But yeah, I don't know, man. For for $5, I wouldn't say it's worth it. But if you can get it for cheaper, I thought this book was a good read. Also, I kind of also there was a Justice League International ad in there that cracked me up. Which Mr. Miracle is part of that lineup. And I have the trade for that, so maybe I'll review that at some point. All right, guys, peace. My next review is I'm going to review all three Marvel 2099 books I got on my last comic book haul, which was Punisher 1, 2099, X-Men 2099 issue 1, and then like Marvel 2099 Unlimited, which has like Spider-Man fighting the 2099 Hulk, which looks pretty cool. That was an expensive book. I paid $8 for that. All right, guys, peace.